Hello, welcome to Bible FPL, a review of Game Week 32, a look ahead to Game Week 3. We've got a free hit draft, we've got a few other things. Thanks so much, by the way, for the support on the previous video. I really appreciated it. And it was encouraging how many people, the video sort of reached, encouraged, helped, and that sort of things. Yeah, thanks for commenting for those that did it. Yeah, it was really appreciated. And I hope this one is equally as helpful. It's a big one, isn't it? Game Week 33, double game week. We're all very excited to hopefully get a bunch of FPL points on the board. The reminder of the teams doubling, it's Bournemouth, Brighton, Burnley, Chelsea, Leeds, and City. So there's some reasonable fixtures in here. There's some reasonable players to target. I'll probably dive into the free hit draft basically straight away for those that are most interested in that part of the video. Quickly before I do, there's been talk around Nico Riley. Is he injured? Is he not? There's been this picture online with him blurred out. Well, potentially him blurred out in the background in training. Some people are saying it could be another player in the City team. Um, we're going to have to wait to see what Pep says. Obviously, we're not expecting anything clear cut from Pep, which I think is why free hit is quite nice if you're on free hit this week, because I don't think you need to take the chance on him. I think for someone like me that's not on free hit but owns him, it's a slightly trickier question as to whether I take him out. Because also City are going to be doubling later in the season. So if I take him out, it kind of feels like a double transfer situation to then get him back again or get another City player back in down the line. So for me, it's a bit trickier. But if you're on free hit, I actually think unless Pep gives something clear cut around, he's definitely fine, no issues at all. If there's an area of doubt around him, I think you can just happily avoid him on free hit. And I think there's three obvious City players you could go to. So without further ado, we'll get into the free hit team, and I'll show you what the 11 would look like in this as I talk it through. So the three City players I've gone for are Semenyo, Cherky, and Haaland. I think that's a really nice aggressive play. Cherky's been in great form. Semenyo, we know what he's done all season. Haaland's obviously Haaland on pens for City. He's going to be the guy you're probably going to want to captain this week. And what I like about it really is obviously you don't have to take the chance on O'Reilly. Home to Arsenal is a massive game. Like on one hand, it could be a cagey sort of nil-nil kind of game where you think, oh, maybe I want a defensive coverage, but on the flip side, you think if there's ever a week to back against City defence, it's going to be when they play Arsenal in a massive game where both teams are going to want to try and get a result if they can. So with that being said, I think there's an argument there for okay, it's not the most ideal fixture from a defence point of view first game. And second game here, away to Burnley is nice from a defence point of view, but it's also very nice from an attacking point of view, isn't it? And Burnley have been the sort of team that have been nicking goals all season and ruining clean sheets. So I think for the guarantee of minutes and for the upside, say guarantee of minutes, I think Cherky's an entire guarantee of minutes, but obviously you're not risking a player like O'Reilly that's got injury potential. Obviously, a Gay at the back could be fine if you want some defensive coverage. But as I was drafting this, I just thought, I don't know, I just like the upside of this front three for City and the potential they can offer. And I guess also what I like about having two midfielders is you still kind of get half a clean sheet point, don't you? Like if City clean, you get 2 points between those two. So you kind of still get half clean sheet if they do get a clean sheet over the two games for having two midfielders. So that could still, do you a job if they do happen to get a clean sheet or two, obviously. As the rest of the team, so I think I'll start with the strikers, João Pedro and Calvert-Lewin for me. I think it's a fairly nailed front three. I have a good feeling about Pedro in these two games. Home to United, they've just struggled against Leeds. Away to Brighton against his former club. As a Brighton fan myself, I'd know, he's a player that can do damage. He's like playing at the Amex over the years, and maybe he gets one over us against his former club. Calvert-Lewin, I mean, home to Wolves away to Bournemouth is so plumb to get the Leeds penalty taker. I just think these guys probably have to be in there over the likes for Danny Welbeck, who isn't necessarily on penalties at all. And the mate told me the other day, I think he's like scored five, missed three of his last eight pens or something. Like he's missed quite a few. Having said that, as has Pascal Gross, but you'll find out in a minute, I'm not actually going to be starting Pascal Gross in this team. When I say you'll find out in a minute, you'll find out now. I'll play a midfield four of these two. Tavernier, again, on pens for Bournemouth when Creepy's not on the pitch, and maybe even on pens at times when he's on the pitch. We'll wait and see. And I think Cole Palmer, you have to have, don't you? Penalty taker for Chelsea. Those are two decent fixtures, I think, overall for Chelsea. And he's been getting DEFCON lately as well, which is a nice little bonus. So for me, it's those four and those three, which I think is so attacking, it's so aggressive, and all of these players have the potential to do really, really well in the double. So I love that as a four and a three. For me, that writes itself if you want to play this free hit aggressively. So I'll take out players I guess you won't be starting. And then at the back, so what we're going to do is Hill can be like a bench player. I think Hill or Senesi, they're similar in terms of what they offer, but I think Senesi's been sort of more proven all season, hasn't he? So I think you want some Bournemouth defensive coverage. Like away to Newcastle, not great, but home to Leeds is quite a nice fixture on paper. So you want some defensive coverage there. He's obviously got the clean sheet, sorry, not clean sheet potential, DEFCON ability, which is nice for Senesi. I think Cucurella attacking for Chelsea, isn't he? As well as that defensive coverage. I think he's a lovely pick. And then I think I have a good feeling about Pascal Struijk this game week. He's got a bit of attacking threat. He's not bad for DEFCON. Two lovely fixtures. His minutes have been pretty nailed. I think you want some Leeds defensive coverage. And actually, what I've initially put together is Kadioglu as a Brighton option is one you could look at 'cause he's got a bit of attacking threat, obviously clean sheet potential. But the Brighton fixtures aren't great. Like away to Spurs, away to Chelsea. I'm sorry, home to Chelsea. I'd actually be very tempted in this team. Okay, Verbruggen could be a bench player, but I'd be very tempted to not play any Brighton players in the team. Like if you want some Brighton defensive coverage, by all means, maybe like ditch one of the Leeds, players and have like Verbruggen instead of Darlow or something. But I just feel like those aren't great fixtures for Brighton. Away to Spurs, home to Chelsea. Like I'm not expecting clean sheets from an attacking point of view. We've been spreading our goals around quite a bit all season. You're not going to have Danny Welbeck because you want this front three. Pascal Gross has limited upside. Minte, I've got in my team. I'm happy for him as a punt, and I think he could do well. But he's far from guaranteed to start both games. Neither is Matoma. Neither is Gomez. Hinchelwood, okay, in the cam role, like has a chance of doing all right, but it's still some tricky games there. And I'm not like overly excited by Hinchelwood by owning him in my team as a Brighton fan when I've got these 4 and 3 in the team. So it's like if I'm not expecting clean sheets, like Kadioglu could be the compromise. Of got a bit of attacking cover, a bit of attacking threat. If they get a clean sheet, he's covering you, but then you're putting a lot of hope on an attacking goal if you think there's like not loads of chance for clean sheet in those games. So I think like under the Zerbi, like he's a guy that scores goals for Spurs. I know they didn't against Sunderland, but he's going to try and do that to the team. So I don't back us to keep clean against Spurs. And then Chelsea are a team we know can score goals. So for me, I think this draft looks lovely. Like home to Wolves, away to Bournemouth for Leeds is so lovely. I think it's nice to have triple leads, and the double Leeds defence works quite well with Calvert up front. I think double Bournemouth defence is nice because you've still got a nice fixture in there. So you've got some defensive coverage. You've also got some attacking coverage, and then triple Chelsea is a lovely fixture. Three of the best assets for Chelsea, three really upside players for City. Your captaincy armband will be on Haaland, your vice will be on Palmer. Unless you fancy a punt on Palmer, you could do it the other way around. And then yeah, like Calvert and Jalpej up front. I think it's a really lovely free hit draft. And if I was on free hit, this is the sort of thing I'd be putting together. We'll just quickly rattle through my teams, and I'm on bench boost this week, so I'll show you what that's looking like. So the team on wildcard this week, it did okay. I was going to start Darlow initially ahead of Petrovic, which would have got us over 50 points, but I thought if these guys get a 0-0, I'd have more upside. So we went for the upside, didn't quite pay off. It was a bit of a stinky week. O'Reilly saved it, to be honest, and I'm very grateful for his contribution with that. This week, the bench boost is looking pretty nice, to be honest. This is what the team was set up for, right? This is where the bench boost comes in. We do have Gabriel and Fernandez there who don't have plum fixtures this week, but it means I can hold them long term, and we know on their day they can still do well in these games. Like I said, Gabriel against City will be desperate to try and help get Arsenal the title. He might do something. I think he scored there last season. Fernandez, we know. Chelsea United could be a game that's a 2-2 or something. Fernandez is likely to be involved if that's the case. So I'm happy with the team. I think if O'Reilly's out, I'll probably do O'Reilly to Pascal Struijk to give me that triple leads. And the player, like I said, I've got just a feeling about this week he might bang in a header or something. I went to Leeds away as a Brighton fan a few years ago and saw him score against us in the last minute to score a winner. So I know he has a goal in the locker, and over the years I've often seen him on the score sheet for Leeds. So yeah, that will be what I do if O'Reilly's out. But I'm hoping O'Reilly's okay, and I get confirmation from Pep. There's no doubt around him. If there's doubt, I think Struijk comes in because I can't afford any other City defender for one move. But yeah, otherwise Struijk comes in. The nice thing about Struijk is as well, because I'll be free hitting in 34. He's then I've clicked on the wrong player there. He's then home to oh, you can't see it quite there, but he's home to Burnley in 35, which is nice. And that's probably all I'll need him for the double and then home to Burnley. So that'll be what I'll do. It's just a shame then later for the double for City. I'll then have to get another City player back in. I'll have then less free transfers to get in Palace players, etc. But such is life. This is the game we play, and I think yeah, that's the sensible move for me this week if O'Reilly's out. As for the Bible team, considering we're not on, we're on wildcard this week, I was delighted of how it did. Gay absolutely clutched up for us. What a legend he's been on the for this team on the series. Thiago holding him was lovely. Salah coming in was nice. Gakpo coming in with an assist was nice. These guys bringing them in for a hit was really nice. Yeah, I was very grateful for the returns here. And I did actually stick to the rules. I fielded seven Christian lads. I think I cheekily started these two, and then they automatically got subbed out for these two. To yeah, stick to the rules basically. I think at times you got to do with this series, and when there's been a lot of players injured, like Chalobah's been a staple for us all season, and things like that. Yeah, we might be having to do a similar thing with the team this week, which I'll come on to in a minute in terms of yeah the transfer plans for this team. Um, if you're familiar with this series, you'll know that I always do a short Bible talk to bring some deeper meaning to some of these videos. Because, at the end of the day, FPL is actually a very trivial game, right? Like, you get virtual points on a virtual game. The only way you win a prize is if you win the whole thing. Or if you're in a sort of paid mini league, I suppose, you could win some stuff. But generally speaking, there's not loads to play for outside of sort of pride and a bit of fun and maybe some content creation that you guys might be putting out there with your Twitter posts in terms of like big scores you got for the week, or if you do a YouTube video like me or whatever it is. Like there's ultimately not loads to play for. There's no ultimately not loads of meaning behind it, and I like to bring some deep meaning. Yeah, to go with the FPL stuff. So we are going to go with the assist that Gakpo got in the 40th minute. Now, Gakpo's middle name is Mathes, so we use him as a Matthew option. And in relation to the goal time of 40, we're going to Matthew chapter 4 and verse 4 we're going to do, to link in really nicely. And it says this is when Jesus was out in the wilderness and being tempted and tested by the devil. And he basically didn't submit to the temptation. He proved that he was the Son of God in never bowing to sin, never sinned, never doubted temptation, even when he was 40 days and 40 nights in the wilderness, really hungry. The devil here is offering him food, and Jesus replies to him and he says, no, it is written, man shall not live on bread alone, but on every word that comes from the mouth of God. And actually, the key thing here is, and how I'm going to link it into FPL is, often in the Bible when Jesus is talking about likes of not living on bread alone, he's not just talking about physical food, which we need, and the Bible talks about how God does provide for us the physical things we need if we put our faith in Him, but also the spiritual things. More importantly, that we all need spiritual food. We are all spiritually hungry without God, and FPL is a game that genuinely like the amount of weeks I've been left having had a bad score, a bad return, and just feeling like, sort of, yeah, like a bit spiritually void, a bit spiritually hungry. I'm like, when I put too much emphasis on FPL, I feel the emptiness of it, if you like. And I'm sure you guys have been there yourselves. When you've had bad weeks of FPL, you just feel a sense of emptiness at the end of it. You feel a sense of frustration, disappointment. Like, what the heck was that all about? I've just spent the whole weekend following games that haven't come in, and it's just been a whole massive bag of frustration, right? I mean, that is the reality of FPL quite often, and a lot of other things in life. Like if we only look to these things, we are just going to feel spiritually void and spiritually depleted. And Jesus says it in the Bible, like, we can't just live off the things of this world. Like, we need God, we need His Holy Spirit, we need the presence of God to fill the voids in our souls. Like, if God has indeed created us, He's created us to have relationship with Him and to know Him, and to encounter His love and His peace, and do life with Him in a way where we can feel spiritually whole. And if we don't look to Him, there'll always be something in our lives that is missing, that is empty. And I think FPL often points us to that reality, because that does leave us feeling empty, and it points us to seeing we need more in life than this. And obviously friends and family and all these things are great, and they can fill voids in our lives, but the Bible says there will always be something missing. Like, we will never feel fully satisfied without God, without the presence of God, the one who created us, that is the essence of everything that's loving and good and whole and pure. Like, a lot of other things in the world can give us a taste of these things, but only God can give them in all of their fullness. And I've experienced that to be so true in my life since finding Jesus. I found He is the only one that can fully satisfy me. And when I spend time in His presence, I do feel whole, I do feel joyful, I do feel at peace with things. Um, And one day in eternity, I'll be, feeling that forever. And it's an incredible promise the Bible offers to those of us that put our faith in Jesus. So if you're watching this and you're not a Christian, you're like, that sounds appealing, James. I'd love to have that. Well, you can. It's a free gift, the Bible says. If you put your faith in Jesus, the Holy Spirit comes to live in you and you can know God in a tangible way and he can give you that wholeness. So do comment if you have any questions about that. I'd love to help you on your journeys of faith. And yeah, genuinely, like faith can help to shift bring you a healthier perspective on FPL where you can hold it more loosely, you can enjoy it for what it is, but when it goes wrong, you know there's something greater and you know that, yeah, you can turn to God who will fully satisfy you, where FPL will constantly let you down. How the team looks then, just to finish on the Bible team for this week. So we're going to have to do a cheeky strategy with this team. We're going to have to probably play wildcard 34. Thankfully, there's a lot of teams not blanking now, the likes of Arsenal, that are quite good. So I think I can get through to the end of the season, even with a wildcard 34, where some of the other teams are blanking, in a way that will look actually still quite strong. And this game week, it just means I have to accept I'm not going to have as many doublers as other people. But I still can get to a decent team. I'm probably, as it stands, I might just be a bit boring and do Mbermo to Palmer, which I can afford this week. Captain Palmer is a bit of a differential. Hope that Haaland doesn't punish me because I can do that for free. And then I'll have a team of Igor Jesus and Thiago, two lovely fixtures there. I'll have Gakpo and Salah, who just got rested in the Champions League. So I'm very confident they'll be starting against Everton in a derby game. They might well do the business. I'll have Fernandes against Chelsea, which is absolutely fine. I'll have Semenyo, yeah, home to Arsenal, away to Burnley in the double. I've got Gay in the double, which is nice. Got Van Hecker and Verbruggen in the double, which is nice. And I've got Gabriel covered against City if he happens to pop off with his high ownership. Like the team actually looks okay. It won't have as many doubles as other people. It doesn't have Bournemouth or Leeds coverage, which is disappointing. But I think I don't know to say I might get nearer the time. I might look at it and I might do some hits and have a bit of fun. But I'm like, do you know what? I could just do a Palmer in for free, no hits. I won't start the week on any minuses, and every player I have in the team actually has potential of doing all right for us. And then we'll wildcard next week and go from there. And I'll talk you through that when we get to it. So yeah, that's what I'm currently thinking with this team. Yeah, it will be revealed as to what I end up doing. I think I can still field the seven Christians in the team as per the rules. If I do probably a cheeky start John instead of Verbruggen, and then Verbruggen will come in automatically. I think we can do that this week, and then from wildcard 34 onwards, we can get in some less injured Christian lads. The likes of Palace and Arsenal players could do us nicely in order to, yeah, not have to bend the rules slightly with the rules I've set for the series. If you're someone that's followed this for a while and you know what I'm even on about with those rules I've just mentioned. So yeah, we'll leave it there for now. Thanks so much for watching. I do hope you have a fun game week 33, big double game week. Hopefully this can be a fun one in the season, and which has been a fairly dreary FPL season overall. But for now, yeah, leave it there. Thanks so much for watching and all the support. Appreciate it as always, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.